This is the Zhiyun Smooth 5S, a relatively new smartphone gimbal that came out in late 2022. Now, I'm particularly excited about this gimbal because this channel actually started when I was filming with a Samsung Galaxy S8 and the original Zhiyun Smooth Q gimbal. So I'm curious to see just how far this gimbal has come in development. And in this video, I'll be talking about 8 things to know about the Zhiyun Smooth 5S. First thing is, it's a bigger smartphone gimbal. So Zhiyun actually has a lot of different gimbals out there, and the Smooth Q line is more compact and portable. The Smooth 5S is actually Zhiyun's most heavy-duty and robust phone gimbal. And while I tend to prefer compact camera gear, you guys know that I just switched from Android to iPhone. And one of the things that surprised me most about iPhone is how much heavier they are compared to Samsung Galaxy phones. So because of that, I actually prefer having a more heavy-duty gimbal for my iPhone 14 Pro. And one benefit of the Smooth 5S being heavier is that it has stronger motors, so it can support heavier phones up to 299 grams. The clamps also extend out pretty far to accommodate phones with thicker cases. Thing number 2, it's solidly built. So one of the reasons why the Smooth 5S is heavier is because it's made out of a heavy plastic material. This gimbal doesn't feel cheap, like the Smooth Q gimbals tend to. The handle is thick and has a nice rubberized grip, and it just feels really solid in the hands. And at first glance, the Smooth 5S actually looks pretty similar to the Zhiyun Crane M3. So the Crane M3 is kind of like the big brother for the Smooth 5S. It again looks very similar, but it's bigger, heavier, and more expensive because it's meant to support not only smartphones, but also bigger cameras like mirrorless cameras. So if I'm shooting with my Sony a7 IV, I actually go for the Crane M3. But since we're talking about smartphones, let's put this guy away and talk more about the Smooth 5S. So the next thing to note is that the Smooth 5S can do a full 360-degree rotation. It has wider spaces between each axis to support filming in low and super wide angles. So a common question is, can you add an external microphone to this gimbal? And yes, you definitely can. I'm going to demonstrate the sound quality difference, starting with what it sounds like using the internal microphones on the iPhone 14 Pro. Next up is a demo with a directional shotgun microphone. In this case, we're using the Sennheiser MKE200 with the furry windscreen, which, as you might notice, is definitely needed right now because it is pretty windy. So this is what it sounds like with that external microphone connected to the gimbal and the iPhone 14 Pro. All right, and final test, this is with the DJI microphone, which is a wireless microphone, and it's really nice because the transmitter has a mic built in. It's right here. It's also got a windscreen, so this should probably give us the very best audio quality out of all of the microphone options that we've heard so far. The fourth thing to know is that there's a really big zoom wheel on the side of the gimbal. Now this zoom wheel is much bigger than those that you'll find on other gimbals, if they even have a zoom wheel at all, and it feels really good in your hands, and it makes it really easy to zoom in and out in small increments. The other buttons on the gimbal also feel super solid, like the joystick for panning and the dedicated wheel for brightening or dimming the fill light. More on the fill light later. The fifth thing to know is that this gimbal has a really long battery life. It has a 2600 milliamp battery that's built in, and it's rated for 24 hours of capture time, which is crazy. That's a full day. That is substantially longer than most competing smartphone gimbals. The built-in battery can also be fully charged in 2 hours if you're using fast charging, and there are 2 USB-C ports on the gimbal. One on the back, which is used to charge the gimbal itself, and a port on the arm where you can plug your phone into the gimbal to recharge it. Alright, let's talk about that fill light now. So the Smooth 5S has a built-in fill light on one arm of the gimbal. You can also add 2 extra magnetic fill lights to either side of the phone clamp. So you can have a maximum of 3 lights attached, and it generates quite a bit of light. All the lights can also be dimmed using the little switch on the handle. So it's really handy to have if you're shooting in low light because phones are decent at shooting in low light, but any extra light that you can add will just make your shot look even better. The gimbal also comes with colored filters. You can change the colors of your light, but only if you get the full kit. Thing number 7, it can do portrait mode. But there's a catch. You have to turn the gimbal off and adjust the phone in its holder, which can take some extra time. Most of the other phone gimbals that I've used let you go from horizontal to portrait mode at the click of a button. So it's a bit of a hassle if you tend to go between horizontal and portrait mode a lot for your shooting. Thing number 8, Zhiyun has 2 phone apps for iPhone or for Android that you can use to unlock more features on the Smooth 5S. The first app is the ZY Cami app, which is the easiest to use. It's kind of for amateur or beginner videographers, or those who want to get up and running quickly. It also lets you shoot different modes, such as panoramic video, slow-mo, dolly zoom, time-lapse, and hyperlapse. The other app is the StaCam app, which lets you fine-tune video settings like your LUTs, your ISO, and your lens choice. And you can even make your own presets. But the nice thing is you don't have to use those apps if you don't want to. You can always use the camera app that's built into your phone. And the ninth thing is the price. So you can buy the Smooth 5S as a standard package, which includes the gimbal, a mini tripod, and a USB-C cable for $169, while the combo, which includes all of the above plus a zippered carrying case and a magnetic fill light with the colored filters, is $219. By the way, if you want to get an extra magnetic fill light, remember that this gimbal can support up to 2. It's $36 for just one, which is pretty pricey. While there are a lot of good things to say about the Smooth 5S, there are some downsides. And for me, the biggest con of this gimbal is that it doesn't pack down into a smaller size. I don't mind having a slightly heavier, more robust gimbal, but I do wish that it could at least fold in half or just take up less space when it's being stored. This gimbal does come with a padded zipper case if you get the full combo, which is nice, but it's a big case. Also, for larger and heavier phones like the iPhone 14 Pro, I find that I have to move the gimbal arm just a little bit to properly balance my phone. And then when I want to pack up the gimbal, I have to slide that arm back into place. So it's just not as quick and easy to pack this gimbal up and to store it and set it up as it could be. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.